Be honest, if you're trying to lose weight and you see the number on the scale shoot back up even though you're doing everything right, what would you think? That it's not working, right? And what if it keeps happening? Or maybe you gain some of the weight back and it stays like that. It obviously means that whatever you're doing to lose weight isn't working, right? Now, if you knew that if you simply kept going, this would happen, you'd actually keep losing weight overall, you probably wouldn't be so bothered by what happened here, would you? Yet a lot of people give up right around here, so they never get to see this part. Listen, our weight can fluctuate naturally for several different reasons that have nothing to do with the amount of fat we gain or lose. Actually, your weight may even stay the same even if you're losing fat. And for women, it's especially important to be aware of this. So, what is it that makes our weight fluctuate? What do normal weight fluctuations look like? And how much can you expect your weight to fluctuate? I'll actually show you a very simple calculation you can do to find this number that's specific to you in this video, so stay tuned for that. In case you don't know me, I'm Ingunn, a Norwegian Viking and researcher sharing science-based, no BS tips and truth on losing weight naturally and effectively without suffering in the process. If you're looking to lose weight, you've come to the right place. Just make sure you click the subscribe button and the bell button. Now, how many times have you stepped on the scale only to find that you have gained weight? And then you feel bad, disappointed, frustrated. And the reason you feel like that is because you think you gained fat, right? Though, what if you didn't? What if the increase in weight had nothing to do with the amount of fat you're carrying on your body? Now, you may be wondering if the number on the scale changes and it's not due to gaining or losing fat, then what is it? Here are 3 things that can change within your body apart from fat that can cause you to gain or lose weight. Number 1, how much water your body is holding on to. Your body is made up of a lot of water. Approximately 70 to 75% of your fat-free mass is water. Now, I did a calculation based on research and found that for me personally, it's estimated that my weight may fluctuate by as much as plus minus 1.5 kilograms or 3.3 pounds daily simply due to how much water my body holds on to or lets go of. That's a lot. If you want to know what this number is for you personally, I'll share exactly how you can calculate this later in this video. It's very simple. All you need is your weight and height. And you can find out how much you can expect your weight to fluctuate simply due to how much water your body is holding on to. Again, I'll share how you can do this simple calculation later in this video so that you can find your number. First, let's look at some of the reasons why the amount of water your body holds on to can change over time. One of the things that influences this is our diet. You may have, for example, heard that if you increase the amount of salt in your diet, you may retain more water. And maybe you've also heard that if you eat more carbs, you may hold on to more water. You see, carbs are stored within our body as something called glycogen. And when stored within our body, glycogen takes with it some water to be stored with it. For example, for each gram of glycogen stored within our muscles, it has 3 grams of water together with it, meaning the more glycogen you have stored, the more water you carry with you as well. And how much glycogen you have stored is influenced by how much carbohydrates you include in your diet. Meaning, if your diet consists of a good amount of carbs and then one day you decide to just eat way less carbs, you may end up losing water weight. On the other hand, if you increase the amount of carbs in your diet, you may end up gaining water weight, meaning the number on the scale may go up. Not necessarily because you gained fat, but just because you're holding on to more water and glycogen, which is not necessarily a bad thing, by the way. I'll talk more about that later because in some cases it can actually be a very good thing, even for how you look. More about that later. Now, it's not only the amount of carbs and salt in your diet that may influence how much water your body is holding on to. If you're stressed out, for example, you may even hold on to more water. And I mean, who doesn't have days when they're especially stressed out? Right? So I guess it's expected to have some weight fluctuations here and there, right? And actually, did you know that you may end up gaining weight right after going to the gym? Not exactly what a lot of people would expect if they go to the gym to burn calories, right? And for women, Our body may hold on to more water during certain parts of our menstrual cycle. So if you gain some weight during this time, it might just be water weight that you'll lose a few days later. So there's a lot of things that can affect how much water our body holds onto and therefore affect the number on the scale. Even if you do everything right, you should expect your weight to fluctuate to a certain extent. And then add in that no one does everything right all the time. So of course we should expect fluctuations in our weight. Just take a look at this real world example, or this one right here. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, I would really appreciate if you gave it a thumbs up, leave a comment, make sure you're subscribed, and for lots more tips, follow me on Instagram at VikingIngun. Now, there are two other things I want to mention that can change within your body and cause you to either gain or lose weight that have nothing to do with the amount of fat you're carrying around. So number 2 is changes to other tissues. Listen, everything within our body is constantly changing. It's easy to think that the only thing that really affects whether or not we gain or lose weight is the amount of fat that we carry around, though that's not the full picture. Your muscles, for example, may grow if you do strength training and then provide your body with enough protein to help those muscles grow. And your muscles may shrink if you do, for example, lots of cardio and don't eat enough protein. Now, the third thing I want to mention is this: food or waste left in your digestive tract. The weight of the food that you eat, as well as how digestible they are and whether or not you may be constipated, for example, this can play a role. If you're constipated for several days, you may find that the number on the scale goes up and then down again once you're no longer constipated. It seems pretty obvious, doesn't it? Though it's something a lot of people forget to take into account when they see that their weight fluctuates. Now, one more thing before we look at how you can calculate how much your water weight may fluctuate, because it's also important to remember that it's very likely we won't be eating the same number of calories every day. Unless you're meticulously tracking and weighing your food, you're likely eating a bit more on some days and less on others. Naturally, based on what types of food you eat, how satiating that food is, and your hunger, which can of course vary from day to day. And it wouldn't surprise me if you told me that you usually eat more on the weekends than on the weekdays, which can of course affect your daily weight. As illustrated in this study, where participants weighed the most on Mondays and the least on Fridays. Though more than just how many calories you consume, just like what you eat can affect how much water your body holds on to, the specific foods you eat can also affect how many calories you burn, like I've talked about quite a bit. Check out, for example, this video where I talk about how the same number of calories can actually lead to a very different effect on your weight. I'll link to the video in the description of this video. Now, this can of course then affect your daily energy balance and whether or not you gain or lose weight. And as you know, your energy balance is also affected by how much you move. And I'm not necessarily talking about exercise here. You spend more energy every day on other types of movements. Just moving around in your home, lifting things, preparing food, walking to your car, it all adds up. And some days we naturally do less than other days. Naturally. Okay, so let's take a look at how you may calculate how much you can expect your weight to fluctuate simply due to how much water your body is holding on to or letting go of. All you need is your weight and height. Now, as mentioned, your body is made up of a lot of water. And it's said that in healthy individuals, the amount of water that you hold on to in your body can fluctuate by as much as plus minus 5% daily. So, first, we'll calculate what's called your total body water, how much water you're carrying around. Here's a formula estimating that value. Note that your height needs to be in centimeters and your weight in kilograms. And now that you know your total body water, all you need to do is multiply that number by 0.05 and you'll have your plus minus 5% fluctuation in kilograms. Fascinating, right? Of course, this is an approximation, though it's still very interesting to see how much you can expect your weight to fluctuate simply due to how much water your body is holding on to or letting go of. Right? Now, one of the most important points I need to make here is that it's very important, or it matters a lot, what time of day you weigh yourself. Your weight can fluctuate a lot throughout the day, which means that if you want to compare how much you weigh one day with another day, you should really make sure to weigh yourself at the same time of day each of those days. Not in the morning today and then in the afternoon tomorrow, because it's very likely that you usually every day weigh more in the afternoon. So if it might even look like you've gained weight if you weigh yourself in the morning today and then in the afternoon tomorrow, even if that's not actually the case, just because of the time difference between when you weigh yourself during the day. On days when I weigh myself, I do it in the morning, right after waking up and going to the bathroom. Though even then, remember, from one day to the next, there's a lot of things that could influence how much I weigh. For example, maybe I ate later than usual the night before. Maybe I didn't sleep well and my body is stressed and therefore holding on to more water. Maybe I'm about to have my period. Maybe I ate more or less carbs or more or less salt the day before. Maybe I had a tough workout the night before. There are almost endless factors that could play a role here, which means that trying to make sense of specific ups and downs on the scale can be very difficult and frustrating. Though in the end, it really doesn't matter, does it? What matters is the general trend that you're on and whether or not that aligns with your goal. And if that goal is to lose weight, you're in the right place. Now, I'll share a couple of ways you can find this trend yourself, both visually and a simple calculation, and I'll show you this in the comment section of this video. So check it out and let me know if you found it helpful. Now, this is important. Holding on to less water isn't necessarily the better thing. I mean, it may seem better because you'll weigh less, though I'm guessing if you're trying to lose weight, what you really want to lose is fat. Right? And yes, holding on to a bit more water can make you look a bit fuller, for example, around your period. Though in general, holding on to more water, for example, due to including more carbs in your diet, won't make you look fluffy. Actually, especially if you do strength training, it's a great thing to hold on to more water because you're storing more glycogen in your muscles, because it helps your muscles function better and even look better. It helps to fill in your muscles, which can really help with your looks. It can really help you look more toned and fit. Bottom line, your weight can fluctuate quite a bit naturally without it having anything to do with gaining or losing fat. And there are so many reasons your weight may fluctuate like this. So don't worry too much about these fluctuations. What matters is the trend. Don't feel bad just because the number on the scale went up one day. Don't give up or think that whatever you're doing isn't working just because the number on the scale isn't showing what you'd want it to show for a few days. It might not have anything to do with the amount of fat that you're carrying. Or even if you do gain a bit of fat some days, remember, your body is a living, breathing creature, not a robot. Everything inside you is constantly changing and adapting to its environment. And what goes on inside your body is extremely complex. So give your body room to make necessary daily adjustments as it sees fit. Just don't get caught up in what the number on the scale says one day to the next. Instead, focus on what you can do to help your body get to where you want it to be. That does not mean you need to force yourself to stop eating even though you're still hungry just because an app told you that you've already had too many calories today. That's what I call working against your body. Instead, you may work with your body by helping increase satiety with the food that you eat so that you naturally eat just the right amount. If you'd like to know how you may lose weight without having to count calories or even needing to exercise, then check out my 90-day weight loss program called Slim by Science at slimbyscience.com. You'll find the link in the description of this video. And if you'd like to know how following some of this mainstream advice you'll hear out there on how to be healthy and even lose weight, how following some of this advice can actually make you gain weight instead, then you'll want to check out this video right here. Before you go though, I would really appreciate if you click the thumbs up, leave a comment if you'd like, and I'll see you in the next video.